adhering to promises and keeping up their end of the bargain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
All right, let's conclude the Own3D portion, and let's go into some Q&A. At this time, we're going to go into sub-only mode in chat, and only the subscribers are going to get a chance to ask, I guess, their questions. But while we wait, so subs just start posting questions. While we wait, we'll take one at least from the Reddit thread, just because I don't feel like waiting here like a few minutes while the subs post something. So questions first. Question is for ChanManV. Is Richard Lewis the new co-host for Unfiltered, and is Destiny being replaced? Does this look like that's happening, guys? You guys are crazy.
No,
Unfiltered does not exist
issue,
without me. And
I was
Destiny,
hoping
okay?
that my agent Tumba was going to handle this. That hasn't happened.
Yeah.
So we've had a very significant offer from ChanMan to basically come on the show and be a co-host with Stephen. I don't want to share airtime with him because I love the sound of my own voice. I'm narcissistic and I can't handle anybody.
I thought this question was for me.
Any
man.
attention paid to them. Yeah, you see how narcissistic I am. I'm answering your
serious
questions.
narcissism. No.
So anyway, we're currently taking the offer under consideration, and provided that we can shoehorn Destiny out of his own show, yes, I will be replacing him. But there's a lot to be ironed out between now and then, people.
All right, next, let's see. LOL Ajito asks, ChanMan, what do you do during the 4 days you don't have a show scheduled? Any plans to add a new show to the week? Well, first off, I have 4 days that I do shows, so there's only 3 days that I don't do shows. So the other days, just work, family, just everything else.
He's
everything
obviously
else,
a big
basically.
fan, Chris.
Yeah, obviously. Let's see, Jay Gonzalez, who's I know him from Steven's chat.
You didn't really answer that question though, dude. Like, what do you actually do? I think he wants to know he wants to know the specifics.
The specifics. Oh my god.
Like, what do you do?
Weekends. I pretty much work like every day. I just don't work during the day. Every night. I think every single night I work.
So Asian, dude.
Dude, I can't help it. I wonder if I'm a workaholic. Actually, sometimes I wonder that because I never really considered myself that. But I think for the most part, I do some work every single day.
Do your children recognize you when you see them?
Dude,
then you're not a workaholic.
I still go to all the basketball practices and the dance practices and all the games and all that stuff. I still go to all those things. Right?
Then you're not a workaholic, dude.
I guess
it's like
not,
that song, man.
I guess not.
Cats in the cradle.
Yeah, exactly.
If your life is like that, then you're a workaholic. If not, then you're not.
I guess. All right, so Jay Gonzalez, he asked, do you think LCS would do the OGN thing of putting booths and having coaches help in the pick and bans? Do you think LCS would do the OG? Okay, do you think LCS would basically put in the booths and let the coaches interact with them during the pick and ban? I don't see why they wouldn't. I actually kind of like the coaches being a little bit more involved, quite honestly. Yeah. I don't see why there's any reason for them not to be. And then the booths, I don't know, that's up to you. That's up to you whether you think it's impactful or not. I don't know. What do you think, Richard?
For me, I like the idea of coaches being involved. Otherwise, what are they? They're just some sort of man-child loser who brings drinks of water over to the fucking players.
No, we run practices and crap like that.
Like,
you know?
Yeah. Or they're on chat programs like, want to scrim with my team because I'm a super elite coach.
Dude, you can look at Monty. Monty's coaching CLG, all right. He's a lot more active
but then again,
right?
and Monty knows they think this, and we get along. But I always thought he played up to the whole coaching role thing and made it really pretentious. Like when he was like talking about how he like recommends that his players meditate and stuff, I was like, come on, motherfucker, don't try and reinvent the wheel, dude. Like just give these young people the information they need to excel and maybe help them out with some life shit. Because generally what stops top-level competitors being top-level competitors isn't their understanding of the game. It's the fact that they're a fucking train wreck of a human being. Because, seriously, because they're young and they've dedicated so much of their time to this very narrow pursuit. So what they need is someone with some external perspective. And that's where being an older guy can actually come in and help out. So there's that. But I would love to see coaches get more involved, I want to see esports with timeouts, like actual real timeouts, not like what they do in Counter-Strike.
Yellow carding people and shit for...
No, fuck yellow cards, man.
Yellow cards.
Fuck that.
Oh, man, that would be interesting.
But anyway, I'm talking about.
You have to play the
like,
next game at Tasia has to play the game at a 10%
with
hand.
one hand. You gotta play with one arm.
Yeah, not talking about that. Not talking about that.
Oh,
like, when dudes like in CS:GO, right, or like Counter-Strike in general, historically, if you want to get a timeout, like you're having a bad time, you have to fake a crash. You have to like disconnect your computer or kick your PC or some shit, right? Like, and then oh no, we've crashed, and that's how you had to have a timeout. Like, team esports should just have a timeout facility. And that's where the coach could come in. So that's a side issue, but yeah. And definitely the coaches should be there. But booths, I hate booths.
Okay.
I hate them because I think
right.
it really separates the spectator from the player, and it would just look artificial. Like imagine if like someone that had just won a football championship was going around in a like hamster wheel, celebrating, like trying to high five people through a hamster wheel. Like you would think this is fucking ridiculous. It's like, I think crowd interactivity and being close to that experience is absolute key in any sport, even if that comes at people being able to shout out dumb stuff. Not according to
Naniwa, man. Naniwa doesn't appreciate that. Doesn't appreciate
I guess we don't agree on lots of stuff.
Okay, well, we'll wait till Steven gets back. But Fuppuccino does ask to Destiny and Richard, have either of you guys played Path of Exile? Neither of you seem to like the casuality of Diablo 3, which was meant to be the successor to Diablo 2. Path of Exile did deliver on those promises.
Well, I never played it because I was so turned off. And this is the fucked up thing. Like, I know I went on a rant about Diablo earlier, but I like back, and I don't know if it was just because I was younger and my brain hadn't fully formed or something, but like I really liked Diablo 2, and even to I guess to a lesser extent Diablo 1. I thought they were entertaining games for the time. I think now with the gaming industry the way it is, like you're just super oversaturated with like amazing games, like genre-defying games, games that demand so much of your attention and require you to think so intensely about every decision that you make in the game. Games like a League of Legends or a Dota 2 or a StarCraft. Your brain, you've just got to be so, honed in. I just can't imagine getting that experience from something that's akin to Diablo. And obviously, I can't speak with any great...
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hack and slashers are, they're totally different. Yeah.
I honestly believe that I could close my eyes and complete a level of Diablo. And I don't know if that's a good idea for a streamer out there. Just going to put that out there. Well, Twitch plays Pokemon, but like, if people will watch any old shit, evidently, on Twitch. But, I can't imagine.
In easy mode, in easy mode, you could probably close your eyes and actually get through the level.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty
that's
serious.
Probably true, actually. But it might take you a long time, but you might be able to do that in easy mode. But not in
I'm sorry,
hardcore,
I couldn't actually speak about Path of Exile. Yeah. I've been tempted. I know it's free to play. I often think, should I just waste an evening downloading it before I realize I hate it? But I always just back out,
The issue these days is just like there's just so many games. There's so many games that are relevant, esports, has their community, whatever you want, and there's only so much time we all have, right? We've all got jobs and whatever you do. So for the most part, people tend to only play like one or two games. Like the way that we gamers play one or two games, right? Which is like a pretty thorough way of playing it. So it's not easy to get to them all. And Path of Exile, I haven't actually played either. I've watched some people play. I've watched Crypt play it and some of those guys, but I haven't got a chance either. Okay, next up, Larwood. It's kind of a Kappa question, but it does lead to free. It says free to play, overrated. And I know we talked about it last week, and you hadn't watched it yet, Richard. Have you watched free to play yet?
Here's the thing. I don't want to say too much. Because I'm in the process of writing a review.
Oh, okay. All right.
I've got a feeling that the review will probably get me the usual array of death threats.
Gee, I wonder what type of review it is then.
No, but it's not negative. That's the thing. It's more about sort of contextualizing it. Like basically, long story short is basically the bullet points, the cliff notes, right? And sorry, I know everyone wants to talk about this and you think we're dodging it. I'm now dodging it for my own business purposes. If you want to know more about what I think, you'll have to read the review. But I think there's like 50 different styles in the documentary, like loads of different ways of conveying the narrative. I think it's a little bit messy. I still think it's amazing in esports documentary terms, but I think it's got some problems. If it was a mainstream documentary we were holding it up to, I think it would be fair game for some criticism.
Steven, have you watched it? Have you seen it, Steven?
I haven't yet. I don't know if I'll watch it or not.
Okay,
It's
cool.
fucking long, dog.
It's like an hour and 10.
Yeah, it's only an hour. I think it struggles a little bit with tonality. I definitely got irritated by the people in the documentary, and that's no fault necessarily of the documentarian. Although I would have eschewed quotes that basically are like, "Hey, in 2011, esports wasn't real. What the fuck were we all doing then?" So I that pisses me off a little bit. Like esports is some new thing. Like it hasn't been around since arcade games. But that is the viewpoint of people in the documentary, not the express purpose of the documentary itself. So I'll give it a pass. I also think it does a little bit too much to sort of spread a little bit of this myth about pro gaming acceptance in Korea, which is exactly that. It's a myth. Anyone who's been to Korea will tell you this. Mm-hmm. Anyone who spent any time out there, the Koreans themselves, and if that CNN hatchet job on Marine King Prime should have taught us anything, it's that parents in Korea aren't immediately pleased when their kids go to them and say, hey, I want to be a pro gamer. So there was a few things with it that I didn't like. But overall, I still think it's probably the best esports documentary ever made.
Yeah.
Certainly though, my personal leanings are still towards Smash.
Really?
Because I think it captures that human element in a way that this doesn't. And I also think King of Kong, which is criminally overlooked, the esports community should really embrace that film as being one of the first mainstream representations of what we're about. And again, I know most people have seen it, but if you haven't, King of Kong is probably the greatest thing to do with esports ever. So long story short, it's really, really good by our own low standards, but it's not without its problems.
All right, very well. Let's see, any other questions from the subs here? Otherwise, we're gonna go to the Reddit. Let's see, Jay Gonzalez, when are the players going to do a player union? Jeez, we always talk about this, so it's
again, I've got a little bit of information on this.
Oh, really? There is news on this.
Riot, several major organizations have bandied together and have basically put together their outline of what they think a players' union should be, and they have submitted it to Riot. And this happened some time ago, and Riot have yet to answer how they feel about it, one way or the other, or whether they think they could work it in to their current thing. So the players are hyper aware that they need a union. I think they want a union. I think there's been lots of problems that have come together, which realistically, rather than players try and flex individual muscle and see if they can game the system in the way that we talked about earlier in the show, I think it would be nice to have representation and this sort of unified feel without that like ridiculous, what was it, the fucking whatever, the G7, G16, however many organizations were in it, where it was just one big, it was a dick measuring contest. All they wanted to do was just say, we're the elite organizations in esports, and what we say goes. And 1 minute they're like, we're going to totally boycott you till you pay out your prize money, ESWC. Then ESWC announced record prize money. We're going to totally boycott you after this event. They were toothless, they were pathetic, they were embarrassing. So a real players union, someone that actually represents the interest of players within esports, would be really cool. I know in LoL they are trying to make it happen. It's very close to happening. But Riot are obviously going to have to get on board with it. There needs to be an acceptance from Riot that there's room for a players union and that they'd be willing to interact with a players union. Otherwise, we've got problems. So more on that as it happens. I'm all over that story. As soon as I've got anything concrete, I will report it.
Scoot says, team owner saying what a player union should be is like a fox designing a hen house. Very true, very true. Question for Steven. A few days ago, we saw you return to League of Legends. Do you plan on playing more often, or was that just a spur-of-the-moment thing?
I may play every now and then. I'm not going to grind a whole bunch of solo queue, though.
All right, cool. Let's see. Looking at some of these others. All right, Gold Rise asks, this is Unfiltered, right? To Chairman, why did you transition from making educational shows, Climbing the Ladder, Pro Corner, about how to train, to the trash talk that is Unfiltered, and the I have two hosts with a lot of fanboys that is Value Town?
I think that's a good question, Chris.
No,
Why the fuck did you? Why did you sell out, motherfucker?
All right, just to clarify things, Value Town, I think, is extremely educational. I don't know what you're talking about. Like the first 10, 12, 15, or first 10 episodes, I think, are all about discussing the cards and the value of them. And the purpose is to really help you guys, get better at Arena. So I don't know what you're talking about. I guess you're talking about just Crip and Trump, who have been, I think, great co-hosts. So I'm not sure what that means. And then Trash Dog that's been filtered. I think we've talked about plenty of things that a lot of you folks, didn't know about potentially, behind the scenes or that sort of thing. The truth of the matter is Climbing the Ladder and Unfiltered have a lot of overlapping things, so they're not exactly the same. Climbing the Ladder, I think, is more focused more on just the more business side of things, and Unfiltered is just kind of anything. But, so if you like Climbing the Ladder, I kind of feel like you should like Unfiltered. That's just my take on it. So anyways, I don't know what you're talking about. I guess that's the sum of it, or the summary of it. Okay.
At least you didn't filter it out, bro. That's a start, man. That's good. Embrace the hate.
All right, let's release these guys. Let's release.
What is this question? Can I ask you? Did we talk about this? And I wasn't when I let me out. To Richard and Lewis, what's your view on Take TV letting their friends and sponsors get away with breaking rules in the ATC qualifiers? Apparently, admin's even confirmed.
Yeah, I didn't see that one.
That anyone could have partnered with Casper for the tournament. What happened here?
The ATC, I have no idea what that was. I saw that question too. I was going to get to it.
Here's the thing. I love to comment on it, but you're going to have to be way more fucking specific than that, dude. I haven't got a clue.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened.
I'm not sure. There's definitely some kind of drama that's going on in the ATC, the Acer Team Story Cup, but I'm not familiar with what's going on there. Is it on Reddit right now? I don't even. Totally missed
a question. Oh yeah, I didn't see the actual story or whatever. But...
Yeah, it was a question, but I didn't know what it was referring to actually. Okay, how about one or two more here, and then we'll call it a day. See, Jito asked, out of curiosity, have you been asking Thorin if he wants to be on the show, or are you just giving him some space after the IEM incident? I miss him. Straight up, I mean, the thing is like, I have no problems with Thorin being on the show again, if he wants and that sort of thing. But I think, last time we talked, we probably agreed that it's probably good for him not to be on the show, at least for some time. It makes sense, guys. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I don't think he has any problems with the show. He doesn't feel bad about being on the show or anything like that. It's just, given the circumstances, he probably won't be on the show for some time.
I think just to, I know Duncan quite well. I definitely don't speak for him, but I think he should be able to come on the show. Like, the point is that the punitive action that's been taken against him has already been taken, and people are trying to almost like insulate him. Like, I don't know if it's a decision he's made himself. I don't know if On Gamers have maybe said to him, dude, like, no more shows except the ones we control and edit out. I don't know which way it's gone. But, I don't think he should insulate himself, or people should try and insulate him from future controversy, because he was always a controversy magnet. He always spoke his mind. And in the incident where it happened, it went too far within the context of him about to do a gig in Poland. I certainly don't think the word racist should ever have been applied to him. I've said that publicly, privately, everywhere. But, he shouldn't feel... if he comes back on the show, what's going to happen? Is he going to talk about the Polish again? I don't think so.
Of course not.
So if he was to go on this show, any show, I think chances are the next controversial thing he says will relate to most likely esports, but if not esports, probably something else. So who'll give a fuck? Like, look, On Gamers can't fire Thorin. Like, he's like their prime asset.
Really? Wow. You think he's that untouchable there? I didn't know that.
Well, no. But here's the thing. That's not like a goading him. I'd just be like, it would be insanity. They haven't got a better writer than him.
Yeah.
And
No, I agree
esports
with
certainly hasn't got a better historian than him. And we shouldn't be
He knows
trying to
everything.
drive him out of esports. I just think we should just be like, look, he got fucked over by ESL. Well, not fucked over. He got punished by ESL. He had death threats. He had a pretty thoroughly miserable time in Poland. And now that's it. That's the punishment. There's no need for a pound of flesh. I hope he's back on shows like this. I hope he's back on shows all the time because the guy's got lots of very intelligent and interesting things to say.
Yeah, he's doing. I mean,
But
he's
I
doing his
think-
Summoning Insight show too, guys. That's more about League of Legends play and just really getting in depth into that sort of thing with the teams and the events that are going on. So you can check him out there too. Steven, what are you gonna say?
That ending to that was really fucking stupid. I think that pound of flesh bullshit.
The
To
talent?
that
Sorry,
play.
did I said something stupid?
The Porsche or whatever, when she was talking to the judge or whatever, and the Shylock the Jew wanted to take that pound of flesh from her, she's like, "Oh, but you can't take any blood. If you hid all of your money in your backyard and you buried it into the dirt, and the debt collectors came, and you were like, well, you can take the money, but you can't touch any of my yard. Like, there's no way that would stand up." I thought that whole play was fucking stupid. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
just
the
wanted to
play.
get-
I
What-
don't
what
know.
a
Merchant of Venice.
Oh.
Merchant of Venice, that pound of flesh, but you can't take any
You're
blood shit.
insulting-
Fucking
I was like,
stupid.
man, what are you
He-
talking
He,
about?
he,
Okay.
he signed away a
I'm on
pound
board.
of flesh closest to the heart. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it's blood or whatever. That's his fucking problem.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. All right. Anyway, yeah, good points.
Okay, one more question. Dang it, I wasn't looking. You guys see one?
I haven't been looking at the thread.
Oh, here we go. SK Gaming recently hired us. Yeah, we think we talked about it,
Yeah,
right?
we
Sports
did talk
psychologist to
about
help
this.
it. But do
Can
you?
can you play the video on air? Can you do that?
Yeah, this is a new show. You can do that, right?
Right. Because I don't even need you to play a lot, right? I just need
There
you
you
to
go.
play from 149.
149. You got that timestamp? Holy crap!
SK is definitely
Yeah,
performing
well,
significant
yeah,
practice.
149 of the video.
It makes my job very easy when it comes to this. because I don't have to
2:03
do this,
of the
and
video.
I'm not specialized. in
All right,
that.
that's what they're.
My job
Okay,
Pretty much.
thank you.
is to make
Just let me know
sure
when it's over.
Here we go. Here we go.
this I don't have to.
and this is what really is my work.
It makes my job very easy when it comes to this because I don't have to do this.
All right,
and
now
not
I'm watching it, but
specialized
I'm
in
watching
that.
it till
My job
Oh.
is to make sure they train
Right.
well and they play well and they get their maximum performance
Okay,
out
now
of
just
it.
keep watching. Keep watching. Just keep watching.
When we played against Super Hot
Yeah,
Crew,
this
didn't have much
dude
presence,
is a
even though
sports
I got, like, a
psychologist.
few
Look
kills.
at his fucking
do
V-neck,
much.
man.
An amazing
God,
job.
you're
Look
talking
how-
about his V-neck. Oh my!
Dude, look, like,
He's
I
been
am
in
no
non-fashion
fashion
pretty much
expert, but
entire-
fuck me.
This is what you wanted me to watch. God, for a freaking
Look how
V-neck.
low it plunges. That's unacceptable. That's
Okay.
unacceptable. I don't know why everyone is saying, have we been DDoSed? Like, everyone's chat's gone crazy.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, like, I can't trust a sports psychologist that doesn't realize that wearing such a low plunging V-neck to be on a Riot video is a bad idea. He needs a fucking clothes psychologist. Would be.
All right, getting
Let's
serious
see.
on a serious note, sports psychologists. I mean, even Robert did I think Ask Me Anything today on the StarCraft Reddit. Even though he didn't mention his name, he just kind of labeled himself as a sports psychologist. What do you think about that? You think all teams should? You're just
Sorry, I'm
baiting
just
all these
laughing.
guys.
No,
You're
I'm
just baiting
laughing.
all these
I'm
guys.
laughing at the irony of me giving out fashion advice. No, okay. Yeah, sports psychologist, man, because it's like I said earlier, right? Like, fuck coaches, fuck analysts, fuck managers. What teams need more than anything is a sports psychologist, seriously, because most competitors, most professional competitors I've met are fucking, they're wrecked. They're just train wrecks. Their head is just not fit for the pressures of competition. They can't deal with it. There's so many people that have so many internal issues that they just wig out. Like, esports is just too much for them. It's like being a celebrity with none of the benefits of celebrity. That's working in esports. That's being somebody in esports. You know, everyone recognizes you. Everyone's trying to get you fired. Everyone's trying to fuck you over, but you get no cocaine and you get no bitches. That's esports. Like,
Well, okay.
it just sucks. So
All right,
what
all
these
right.
people need are sports psychologists.
Steven, what do you think about sports psychologists?
I don't know, man. It's hard to say. I mean, I guess if you really feel like you need one, then you should probably have one. It's hard to say because I don't know exactly the type of psychologist they're bringing on and what kind of like treatment they're giving. Is it just like, are they like actually doing like one-on-one therapy, or is it just they bring on a psychologist guy who's like, hey guys,
it's more
go
of like
exercise for 1 hour every day?
It's
like,
more
you
of
don't need
a
to bring on some.
performance. It's more of a performance coach, meaning, you know, just help you train and all. And it's not just purely the mental aspect of it, but even things like just helping you schedule out customize a personal training regimen, you know, that sort of thing. I think that's the kind of thing, at least I know Robert does, which is the sports psychologist I've talked to who's worked with TLO and Rhett and those guys. But yeah.
Didn't TLO's coach say something like he could get away with practicing 4 hours a day though? I don't even know.
If it's efficient, I mean, I think what he meant was that, like, compared to what he was doing, I think maybe compared to the training that they've been doing, he could probably, if it was optimized, it could probably be done in 4 hours or that sort of thing. Here, I'm linking you guys. Here's the AMA thing he did today. And what's crazy to me, all right, what's crazy to me, and I know Robert, okay, and he was on a few episodes of Pro Corner when I was trying to redesign Pro Corner to be this training regimen thing. And he was willing to work with anybody for no money. And a guy could not get anybody to work, except for, you know, Dario, which he's been working with for a long time, and you know, just some of the Liquid guys. But, you know, he was asking anybody, because he still had time to, like, take on, you know, maybe 1 or 2 more players. And nobody took him up on it, which is, like, crazy to me. I don't even understand it. Because I know what he offers, and I feel like it's really good, and it's free. So I don't even know what to say about some of that. But in general, I kind of know what he does in the standpoint of, again, kind of setting up a really great training regimen for you, helping you prepare for tournaments. Like, the preparation for tournaments is one thing that he focused on maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks before it. And that includes, like, getting prepped for the days that you're there, the downtime and all that stuff. I mean, he literally walks through that with you, prepares even like diets and stuff like that with you too. So it's an all-encompassing type of thing. And
yeah, I mean, if they're doing all that, I mean, that sounds good then. Yeah, I don't think anybody could say that sounds bad.
I don't know. Nobody cares, I guess, for things like that except for Dario. In general, guys, if you're a player and it sounds kind of interesting,
but he was put in a position as well where he needed it. I mean, I think at the stage he got to, he was willing to try anything, right?
Who?
Kind of.
Dario?
Yeah. Well, I know Dario was really receptive because he's talked about stuff like that in the past. One of the biggest problems with things like that is you don't actually know you need it ever until, like, it's way too fucking late. There's a lot of things, a lot of mental things, and maybe even diet things that can affect you, but you're completely and totally unaware of it. To give an example, as somebody that used to play, I went to college for music, right? So music is one of those things where, like, when I'm practicing, let's talk about sleep, right? So when you're tired, it has a real effect on your body and how capable you are of responding to things. All of us have known that when you're driving at night and you're really fucking tired, your reactions are slow, blah, blah, blah. And we all kind of know and joke about it. But even different varying degrees of tiredness have effects on you that you're not even aware of. And I say this as somebody that used to practice music a lot. So, like, let's say that you're getting towards the night and you feel like you're kind of awake, but you're not really tired. If you're somebody that's very proficient at your instrument, you can instantaneously tell whether or not you go to sleep or whether or not you need to sleep. And that feeling of being really tired always comes after you actually need to sleep. Like, for instance, there were times where, like, it's like 11 or 12 a.m., like 11 p.m., 12 a.m. midnight, right? And I'm like, oh, well, I'm just going to go practice my saxophone for a little bit. And I go into the practice room and I start trying to do some runs. And it's like, I don't really feel tired, but my hands aren't really responding in the ways that I know they should be. Like, I know I can play these runs at, like, 120 BPM. Why am I struggling at 112? Like, this is fucking retarded. But then it's like, at that point, it's like, okay, because after a while, it's like, I need to sleep. Like, I know I need to sleep. I'm too tired. Even though you don't necessarily feel tired, right? I use tiredness as an example, but if I wasn't somebody who had played an instrument, I would have never known that just being a little bit tired, but not actually feeling tired, can actually have a very real detrimental effect on your ability to respond to things. So knowing that little bit of information I'm sure that there's a ton of other stuff that can have an effect on you, whether it's bad moods, whether it's being overly emotional, whether it's having a shitty diet, not getting enough exercise. And I'm sure hopefully a sports psychologist would be well read enough on that to help people round themselves out, to get that stuff taken care of. So it's not surprising to me that nobody would ever say, oh, well, I definitely need help, because by the time you need it, you usually don't know it, or you hadn't known it until you got to like rock bottom on that particular thing. So
I mean, a lot of the players, just to be quite honest, they don't even know what a regimen is. You know, like really designing out your week. I mean, like for me, like my week is scheduled out like crazy. Sometimes it's scheduled out too close, you know, to like 30 minutes, you know, because it's kind of nuts, my schedule right now. And I don't think players even understand that like how much you can actually fit in and how much you can actually optimize the time that you know, the time that you spend on the game, thinking about the game, any of your mind share, you know, any of that stuff. And I think having somebody actually help you with that, structure that, is, again, this is something they don't understand yet because they're just young, and you know, you don't need that kind of schedule when you're young, and you have a lot of extraneous time, so you just play 8 hours on the ladder and shit like that, and that's enough, and you can do it yourself or whatever, but that's not optimized training. And I think we can all agree on that. It's just having people actually accept it or buy into that thing is a completely different story. It's hard to get people to buy into it, and yeah, it's I feel for guys like Robert. I feel for Robert because he wants to help people, and he like nobody wants to. It's like free, and nobody wants to take him up on it. It's just like I don't even understand.
The ongoing issue I think you've got, why players, one of the reasons anyway, why they fall into these bad habits, because they look at what other pros do, and they take tips from the other guys. So when they're coming up, well, they'll ask somebody like, "What do you do?" And if you're a CS:GO player, I deathmatch all day. All right, well, deathmatch must improve your aim, and there's no scientific measure of what actually increases what helps with what. You'll rarely hear a fellow professional like, "Oh, how did you get so good?" "Oh, well, before an event, I have a good night's sleep. I stay hydrated." Everyone will be like, "Shut up. No way."
Exactly.
Like, what?
Right.
No, bullshit.
Right.
So having somebody with an external perspective and the right levels of expertise come in and foster good habits can only have a long-term beneficial effect on the industry, because the people that benefit from that person's wisdom will pass that wisdom on. And that's pretty much what we've seen on esports. It's pretty much a word-of-mouth gig. So yeah.
I think the term psychologist, I think people are always thinking, oh, it has to do only with the mental side of it, but it's more of a performance coach type of thing, guys. And people are like, oh, that sounds like a coach. Well, dude, coaches on the teams don't do this kind of stuff. I mean, they might do like a degree of it, but I don't think they do nearly as much as the type of things that we're describing. But all right, guys.
You know what? I know you're about to say all right and do your standard insipid
wrap up,
but no, we didn't talk about the Sapinda thing.
What?
Sapinda?
The Sapinda group giving Azubu $34.5 million to his.
Oh, we kind of talked about it, didn't we?
Kind of, sort of, but
not really.
Right,
not specifically about that level of investment. And I know people will want to hear it, and they'll say we pussied out, and I just want to.
All right, let's talk about it.
Okay.
So $4 million, obviously, just
34.
34. Sorry, yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Recently invested into Azubu. So I guess the question is who is Sapinda, right? And where is this money coming from? Just the typical questions we always ask. Richard, you seem to want to talk about it, so.
Oh, no. I don't want to let your adoring fans down. I mean, I could just come on, take a shit all over your show, say I hate the Polish or whatever, and then just leave and never come back, right? I could do that. And then, that'd be cool. I love the Polish. Had a great time in Katowice. Don't take that out of context. That's a joke. And I've got no obligation to talk about it, right? But
sure.
Your fans want it. It's in the chat. So I'm going to do it. But basically, the fun part is now that they've asked us to talk about it, none of us have anything worth adding to the facts. It was announced shortly before we came on the show. I've got no.
Yeah, I don't have any information on it. That's why I didn't bring it up either.
Yeah, right. So, what does it mean? Well, we've had suspicions about the Azubu group for a long time. We know that Klaus I need to get it the right way round. So, is it Klauf is a trading name for Azubu in Europe? Is that the way round it is?
I think that's right.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that's right.
Cool. Certainly, I've been researching an article about Klauf for ages, and I'm just waiting to find something really, really dirty, which I'm sure I will eventually. I've got no doubt about that. But yeah, so this Sapinda group are just doing, they're gobbling up everybody, aren't they? I mean, they funded Tumba's new Gem group,
yeah,
so they were behind that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're behind a lot of things, and they've obviously got money to burn in esports. But how many times have we seen it? And much like my colleague and all-round esports guru Steven said earlier, money's great on paper because you don't have to action it. Until it's in your bank and it's a tangible amount you can get your hands on, it's not real. So I'd be very interested to see how this deal is structured, when they're getting the 34.5 million, how regularly it's coming in. What the nature of the investment is, what it's predicated on, like what they're hoping to achieve. So I don't know. I think the amount raises more questions than it does answers. I think all we know for sure is that Azubu are going to continue doing what they're doing. I think the Sapinda group are going to continue what they're doing. Klauf are going to continue doing what they're doing. And there is a big group of people right now that have exorbitant amounts of money in esports, and everyone is going to drop their pants, and I'm going to include myself in this. I've told you, I'm selling out this year. If they want to come and ram the big Sapinda dick right up me for a portion of that money, they can. I'm game.
Wow.
I'm too old to not sell out one more time. I've turned it down a million times. Richard, sell out. Richard, sell out. No. I got my integrity. I'm fat. I'm old. I'm bald. And my integrity is not as appealing an asset as it once was. So I'm ready to sell out, people. Make me an offer, and I will sell out hard. But yeah, they're just going to fucking keep doing what they're doing in esports. And are they here in 18 months? I've got my doubts. If they cut me a check, I will tell you they're here forever.
Gosh. Okay. Any thoughts, comments, Steven, on this whole Sapinda and Azubu? This Sapinda.
Man, people have already said everything before. Apparently, they're money laundering. I have no fucking idea. I don't have like the necessary tools to go and make an informed decision. If it's money, if everybody's saying it's money laundering, then
I mean, one thing's for sure, it's a lot of money, and I think they'll be able to do some cool things with that amount of money. It's.
I guess, yeah.
In the end, it's like, even if it comes from some nefarious places, what they do with it is a different story, right? And
everyone's talking about how we're going to be able. I mean, this is why crooks can come into esports and do what they do, because everyone says it was the same thing when it was UKESA in the UK, when they just declared themselves to be the United Kingdom Esports Association. They declared themselves to be the governing body for esports without consulting with anyone. That was it. They were the UK's governing body for esports. Man. Yeah. Hi, everyone. We've got a Wikipedia page. It must be true. Everyone else in esports was like, what the fuck? Then we looked at the guy's history, and he had something like 16 million pounds worth of tanked businesses. Everything they'd presided over, bar one or two, had been horrendous failures. And somehow they just kept jumping around and getting venture capital and doing this and doing that. And I was saying back then, I'll write an article and expose these fuckers. Don't touch UKESA. And people were coming to me, prominent people who are still in esports to this day and enjoy very good positions with other companies, were coming to me and going, Richard, don't ruin this, yeah? Because, look, they've made mistakes. They've made mistakes in the past, but think of all the great things we can build in esports with their dirty, unsubstantiated, probably fictitious money. Think of all the things we can build together. Just don't spoil this for us, Richard. So, okay, right, I won't spoil it for you. Let's see what happens. And lo and behold, fuck all happens. And I'm not saying it's applicable. Certainly the amounts are getting bigger and bigger that people are talking about. But isn't there this weird thing that whenever venture capitalists come into esports with a view to make money, it never fucking works out? Or when vast amounts of money get pumped into esports, why does it never work out? It's not like now we haven't got the expertise. We know what works and we know what doesn't. So I'm just saying, I'd be like,
Yeah, but that doesn't
fucking
mean any time there's money pumped into it that you should just assume it's going to fail. I mean, that's
No,
not a
but
good
equally,
approach.
I think I've said this a million times. Like you are better off sticking to the tried, tested, and true, and valuing your own brand above just dropping your drawers to whoever's got money to whip around. It never
Yeah,
works
but
out for anyone.
I mean, the thing is they're trying to start new things, right? All these things that we're talking about with Azubu, they're all new things. They're all new brands. Clough and I mean, Azubu
They're new
TV
brands
isn't
with the
brand
same
new,
old,
but
same
it's
old
like
people recycling other people's assets. They took the best things, about NASL, and contributed
mean,
towards their demise
just to
inadvertently.
get, benefit of the doubt. I mean, if they take let's just say they took good assets of NASL and good
Yeah.
assets from another company, and then they make something good. They make a team that's actually really good. Then
Okay, but like they might make something good, but the key in esports, the reason it is still this unstable industry is longevity. I have never seen anybody put together a package that has like an end game. Like even Stalin had a 5-year plan. People who come into esports don't think further than 18 months. It's like they just think everything's going to slot into place and it's all going to work out. And it never fucking does. CGS had Fox money. Like Newsco money, right? So News Corporation.
I don't think, to be fair, I don't think you can put together even more than a 3-year plan in this industry. Things are way too fucking variable. 5 years ago, streaming didn't even exist, really. And now look where we are now, where it's like the staple of how we watch tournaments and like... so I mean, I don't necessarily fault people.
No,
for
and
not having one.
actually,
if anything, I think you have to be adaptive and variable. You have to be able to.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
there's nothing adaptive by dumping a shit ton of money in at the start of creating something, and then saying, okay, because we've done that, and we've got all the best talent, therefore we're going to succeed. And that seems to still be the tried and true tested model. On Gamers went out and snapped up all the best journalistic talent that they could. So okay, they're the best journalist site, but what's going to happen long term? When we see people like the Daily Dot doing work that rivals, if not eclipses, their own, and they haven't invested heavily in esports. So, and again, that's not to be disparaging about On Gamers. I still think in a lot of ways they're the benchmark. But and then we see it with other leagues that went out and bought the best managers, the best players, the best celebrities, the best casters. Everybody. They even brought in mainstream sports casters to cover the games that looked a little bit like mainstream sports, and they dumped $60 million into it, and it failed. It's just like money isn't the be all and end all. I think you've still got to tippy toe your way through this industry, and I think Azubu. I mean, what have Azubu really done and succeeded at?
A lot of people are happy with their streaming platform.
yeah, the streaming platform's been around for a while now. I mean, it's.
But-
I mean, a lot of
but
people
okay.
were using. I mean, not a lot, but there are some key notable people that were using it for some
Right.
time.
So
And
okay. So are we talking about streamers that have been paid an exorbitant amount of money?
No, I'm
to say
talking about
that?
people that watch the platform. They're happy
Yeah.
that the
Okay.
tournament doesn't lag sometimes as much as Twitch's
But
platform does.
It's already had issues in the past, right? I mean, like it's not like
With paying people, have they?
I thought Azubu always paid.
my no, I'm not talking about paying people. My understanding with the Azubu was that I thought they had problems where they weren't even sure if they were still going to be operating as a platform, and then it was like touch and go, and then it was okay, and then they distanced themselves from all the negative stuff that was happening in Azubu. Right about the same time, the team tanked. If you remember when Azubu players were going to
I remember the team
I think
tank, but that was
Azubu the
external to
team,
them.
and Azubu the streaming
Yeah.
platform are kind
They're
of
completely
different.
separate things.
Yeah, no, I know they're separate, but I'm saying round about the time that the team was bottoming out and refusing to field any questions about Azubu, the parent company, I'm pretty sure the streaming platform was going through a massive restructuring internally to do the same thing, to distance itself from that thing.
There probably was some restructuring, at least of the team and just the people running it, but I don't know technology-wise if they made huge changes or what. But I did hear that there were some new people being added on, maybe some people swapping places, that sort of thing. I'm not sure. I don't have all the information.
The way
there,
I
so
understood it was they went through a massive internal restructuring.
Okay.
Because it wasn't succeeding as a business, and the negative connotations from the parent company, which we all know about and has been done to death, was actually harming the brand, and that was why they went through this restructuring to sort of alleviate people's fears that it was going to go the same way as the fucking organization, as indeed the parent company went. And like you say, we're left with a reasonably good streaming platform. I guess they didn't fail at that, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a resounding success.
$34 million is a lot of money. It's a lot of funding from anybody, right?
That sounds like more money than what. That's more venture capital than like fucking MLG or whatever it's raised,
like
isn't it?
3 times. Well, I mean, I guess MLG got maybe like twice as much as MLG in total.
I thought their last round of capital raising was like 10 or 11 million. I could be completely wrong on that. That's what I remember. But...
Yeah, it's something around.
I think like people need to remember as well. Like everyone talks about how good the platform is. Okay, it is, and I even alluded to it earlier in the show that on occasion for peak activity, I will watch an LCS stream on Azubu if YouTube isn't available or isn't performing for whatever reason. But they've got a fraction of the user base that Twitch has. I would still say Twitch is the de rigueur choice for the serious online gaming enthusiasts to watch through. So I don't know. I don't think Azubu have necessarily been particularly successful as a company, and they've had exorbitant amounts of money to chuck around in the past.
Well, hopefully, eventually, you throw out a lot of data out there, and hopefully one of them will come back, right? Or
yeah, well, I mean that's a great policy, but this is why 34.5 million will quickly become fucking 0 million, because people in the past have had that idea. Like, if we buy what's already the best in the industry, we'll become an industry leader. That's how people think in esports. It's just about having the money to do that. But that isn't necessarily true. There's so many variables in following that model. Like, you can't speak to people's intentions. Like prime example, like when, again, CGS, Fatality is a huge brand. He's got all that prestige and pedigree from Quake. So we'll make him a commentator. Wow, that fucking paid off, didn't it? Like, holy shit, he was appalling. And they paid him a fortune for that. I think he got paid something like $250,000 to be that bad at one thing. But it's okay, because we've got all these other great guys. We've got Sujoy, we've got this guy, we've got that guy. They just bought up all the talent that was available in the industry at the time and thought it was going to be a gateway to success, and it wasn't. And if Azubu don't actually have some sort of new plan, like a new idea, and I'm speculating because I don't know that they don't, but my gut feeling will tell me it'll be business as usual. They'll spend the money stupidly. They'll be the same little gannets in esports round there with their begging bowls, like, oh, how can I get a piece of this? Oh, I'll do anything for a piece of this. And they'll give them a piece of this, and then those guys will be like, yeah, well, I ain't doing what I said I was going to do. And that's how the kings of esports were made.
Well, I mean, I hope it becomes something, but it could go either way. So I guess we'll have to see how it turns out. Maybe in a year we'll have the same discussion, Richard, and you'll be. I mean, $34 million in a year, that'd be pretty damn fast to burn through that. I don't think their team is that big to burn through that.
I want to have the conversation just once where I didn't tell you so. That's the conversation I want to have. The conversation where I'm wrong. Because I've been right every other fucking time. Because everyone does the same stupid shit.
There's gotta be something you were wrong with. I'm gonna have to relook at some things. I'll find you an instance where you were wrong.
Okay, instances I was wrong with. I think I said League of Legends would never take off. There, I said it. That was the one thing I was really wrong about. Everything else, right. And when it comes to money, definitely right. Because people are greedy and they behave the same stupid way every time. So I'll be amazed. I'll be amazed if Azubu build anything amazingly solid about this that we're all still talking about if we're all still in esports in 3 years' time, which of course none of us will, because we're all just using esports as a stepping stone to something successful and real.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Same.
Jeez. All right, let's wrap things up, guys. It's been a long show. I wasn't expecting this show. I was actually expecting this show to be an hour less than it was. So 2.5 is pretty good. And why don't we do some shout outs, thank yous, and all that good stuff? Richard, you want to start off?
Right. So there's one shout out I've got to do. I was playing CS:GO earlier to relax, and I got put in a team with a guy from France. Who was like just team attacking in spawn and being a retard. I'm not shouting out to him, but I raged. I raged in a game, and I raged probably in the kind of way that would have got me Naniwa I went ham on this dude until he basically team attacked me to the point where he got kicked from the game. And another guy was saying in the background, I'm recording this and I'm going to get you fired, and I'm recording this and I'm recording this. And then at the end, he just like went, psych, I'm not really recording this. I'm a fan of your show. I even liked the Esports Express article you wrote that everyone else hated. And he was a really cool guy. And his gamer name is Lord of Throws. And he didn't record me saying terrible things about some French dude in CSGO. And I still have a job today. Probably it's because he didn't record it. So thanks to him. That's the only shout I want to give. Fuck even you guys. He's a legend.
Steven?
Are we doing shoutouts? Are we doing random game encounters? Okay.
That was the shout out. I'd like to hear the equivalent story.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
I'll shout out to all my affiliate links, destiny.gg/shave, destiny.gg/ting. Check it out if you need razors. If you need butt wipes from the One Wipe Charlies, are also on the destiny.gg/shave. I'm pretty sure you can buy through there too. Ting, lower their data rates. I've said that a million times. Check that out. You can use their savings calculator to see if you can save any money on their stuff. They'll also they support iPhones now too, I think, on their network. Destiny.gg/Amazon if you're going to buy anything off Amazon. That's not really anything I can promote though. But yeah, do that if you want to do that. I get paid for that too. But anyway, yeah, I think that's it. Oh, Phoenix. Phoenix has a new headset out that I want to try really soon. I'm actually a little bit excited about it.
Are you really going to try that? You're going to use them over your Sennheisers?
I'm really butthurt using these Sennheisers. Way too many people have bought Sennheisers because of me, and I haven't gotten anything for it, which hurts my feelings. But the headset, it actually looks like really. Have you seen it?
No.
Hold on, let me link
see
it.
this.
It actually looks like pretty nice. I linked it in Skype. It actually looks really sexy.
I see this.
And the microphone is like a clip-on that goes to your shirt. Like, have you ever done like an interview before where they clip on the little mics?
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's one of those things.
Oh wow, it's like
quality...
got a wood look to it.
Yeah, it looks really sexy. And it's made by somebody told me, I think it was Bayer Dynamics.
Oh,
or
okay.
something.
Yeah.
You got it right this week. Nice.
Yeah, I got it right this week. So the cans themselves should be relatively decent quality. So I'll probably try those out since I actually get paid to promote that shit.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll see how that goes. But anyway, yeah, you can check out all the Phoenix products in there.
I'm
Phoenix
gonna bring
collection.
out my own brand of V-necks as well. V-neck shirts.
Actually, I'm questioning whether that's actually a V-neck or if it's just like a regular shirt that's just been stretched out to the point that it's sagging in the front there. I'm not sure, actually.
Well, whatever. I'm gonna start. I reckon it'll outsell your Unfiltered t-shirt.
It just might, thankfully.
Right. Think about it. Right.
Speaking
like,
of which,
Richard Lewis's brand of overweight V-necks outsell the Unfiltered shirt.
Speaking of which, guys, check out or go and snag a Unfiltered shirt if you guys want to help support the show and just want a nice looking shirt. Some people I guess don't think the logo is intricate enough on a shirt. I think it looks nice. Steven's wearing it right now, so. Yeah, just check it out. Give me your feedback too, and if you do buy it, guys, be sure to tweet me and just let me know when you get it and all that good stuff. I like to get those. I know, kind of weird that way, I guess. And
do you know what you should do? You should say if you sell 50 this week, you won't have me back on the show for at least a month. That'll test out how much people actually dislike me, man. We'll see. I see a lot of hate.
Sounds good to me. Sell 50, guys. I won't have Richard on for a month. That sounds good to me.
Prick.
But also, I want to give a shout out to. I don't really ever talk about Hearthstone that much on this show, but I do want to plug in this TESPA event for all you college students out there. It's a $5,000 scholarship event, and it's open, free to sign up for a tournament. I think there's going to be. I was talking to Tyler and Adam, and they told me it's going to be like maybe a 2048 bracket. I mean, there's thousands of people sign up for this thing, so it's going to be happening this week. I think you can still sign up, so be sure to do that. I'm going to be actually casting the semis and the finals at PAX, so the semifinals will all be flown out to Boston to play the finals there. But it's a great thing. It's probably the biggest open tournament to date. Obviously, you have to be a college student, but still, everything else has been, for the most part, invitationals to date in Hearthstone. So this will be a great opportunity for everybody to show how awesome you are at Hearthstone. And lastly, just shout out to you guys, to Richard and Steven, obviously, for doing the show with me this week, and all you guys for watching. VODs parts 1 and 2 are already up on youtube.com/ChanManV. You can check it out. I edited out the breaks this week, guys. I made a mistake last week, so I fucked up. My
Wow.
bad. So
Man, that YouTube comment was the best. This is seriously unprofessional editing, Chan man. This is the worst shit I have ever seen.
I know.
Are you fucking
Damn it.
serious, dude? Like, what the
But the rest of
That guy
the
needs to chill the fuck out.
the last part will be up right after this, guys. Just like normal. You guys know the drill. And that's going to be it, guys, for this week.
Oh, I'll probably be playing StarCraft after this too. If you guys want to hop over to Destiny.gg. Wow, such StarCraft.
Yes, go check out Steven right after this. But until then, guys, I'll see you next week for Richard Lewis, Destiny, and ChanManV. Peace.
Yeah, see you in a month, motherfuckers.
What?
See you in a month. You're gonna
See you in a
sell
month?
50 shirts.
That's if we get 50.
Yeah.
Which who knows if we will.